So, hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Saskia and I have just finished my degree at the University of Southampton. I'm doing psychology, was doing psychology, am doing psychology, it's done. If you've seen my videos like this before, as in like last year's video, you know I have a few negative things to say about my university. Yeah, I do this video every year. I do a summary of my final year, going through like different sections of categories, I guess, that I just happened to come up with in first year, and I'm sticking with that kind of plan. So I am going to be doing a video on everything wrong with the University of Southampton from all my 3 years. This is just going to be my third year experience, split into sections, time-stamped. Yeah, I'm ready to slate the university. It will be very negative. I'm sorry if you've just accepted your offer to the University of Southampton, but it is what it is. And I'm also filming this video a lot earlier than I filmed all my other videos, because as in I used to film them in August once we had our final grades and everything, but I just have so many negative things to say and I want to kind of get this out of the way and done. And I also just finished, I'm done with my degree, so I'm bored. So in my Notion, the very first thing I've written is bad lol, which I think really encompasses third year. I feel like a lot of people enjoy their third year of their degree the most, or feel like it's the most maybe fulfilling or useful. I would say the opposite. I would say second year was probably the best year of my degree, and even still, if you've watched my second year video, it was not good. It only got worse from first year, essentially. It's horrible. If we start with the course and modules, the course I do is just straight psychology. You can do psychology with law, criminology, that kind of thing. I ranked all my modules, if you want to see my opinions of the modules individually, but we did 3 compulsory modules: lit review, research paper, clinical. Then I picked lots of optional modules, which is you're supposed to be able to kind of tailor your degree to what you want. However, as much as yes, you can pick a lot of optional modules, you get 3 in semester 1, 2 in semester 2. The options do kind of suck. 2 modules cancelled, or we had 2 modules cancelled. We had 1 module that just wasn't run this year. And obviously when I picked my universities, I printed out all the modules and I was like, oh my god, Slade, this is gonna look so fun. They don't do half those modules anymore. I wanted to do developmental psychopathology. They didn't run it this year. They didn't tell us why, they just didn't run it. There was another module called intergroup relations, which was originally supposed to be in semester 1, and then they said they're going to do it in semester 2, and then it got cancelled. There was another module called web program, which they did for 3 weeks and then cancelled. They cancelled a lot of modules, and the modules that they did were all kind of bad. I couldn't tell you a good module I've done this year. A module has never been good the whole way through. I think the content for some things like sexual diversity, that's kind of interesting. Assessment methods, what? The assessment methods either have nothing to do with the actual coursework, or they're just really weird, like making a podcast. This year I've made a podcast, I've had to make posters and information sheets in 2021. It's weird. I had to make an advert. I had to make a series of multiple choice questions. I would say notable failure modules. Semester 1, sexual health, run really poorly. No way you can give them feedback. They refuse to accept feedback on them being wrong, because lecturers are never wrong. If you're going to take home one message from this video, the University of Southampton firmly believes a lecturer could never be wrong. Never. Oh, they were ableist? No, they weren't. You interpreted it wrong. That's the kind of message I feel like they put out. Yeah, notable failure sexual health, really bad module. They then also gave out the wrong grade for exams. If you've watched my vlogs, I got given a 2-2 in the exam when I did not get a 2-2. And would they have even checked if no one had questioned it? If I hadn't emailed and gone, why the fuck did I get a 58 in that exam? I don't get 58s in exams. I don't get 58s full stop. if I hadn't questioned that, would they have ever checked those grades? And would I have just been left with a 55, 58? No, I got 55. Would I have been left with that? What would I be expected to do with that? They also then didn't tell most people that they changed their grades. I only found out because I emailed and I was one of the first people and I was like, babe, this is fucking wrong. And they went, my bad. Loads of other people didn't get told. Some people went down loads of grades, some people went up loads of grades. It was a big proportion of people that were fucked over. No one said sorry, no one said anything. No one apologised. They will not, because the lecturers were not wrong, I promise, never. Then another notable failure, I'd say, is psychology of advertising. The content's fine. The assessment methods have nothing to do with the content. The lecturers don't respond to your emails. Your work is marked by postgraduates who don't really know what they're doing and like will tell you to do one thing and then give you feedback that says, I don't like that you've done this thing, even though you've hit back at them with, well, actually you told me to do this, and then they don't respond to your emails. They also published everyone's grades online, so you could see everyone's grades, and then I told them, babe, that's disgusting, and they said, oh, I'm so sorry. I would say those are my two notable failures. Lit review and research methods are awful. No, lit review and research paper are also abhorrent. So with your lit review, at the end of second year, you do like a little ticky box thing of like your areas of preference. So you do like, we have 5 disciplines in psychology: cognitive, developmental, social, clinical, health. You put those in rank order of like which one's first. So maybe I said I wanted developmental first and then health second. The next page was then like a tick all of the projects that you'd be interested in, or like tick all of the areas that you'd be interested in from every discipline. But here's the thing, I might have put cognitive, I think I put cognitive 5th. However, I would much rather do maybe an aspect of cognitive like forgetting eyewitness testimony over, I don't know, ADHD from developmental, and developmental was my first pick. Like, you can't guarantee you get anything you want. I didn't get anything I wanted. I originally had placebo effects. When the fuck did I ever say I liked placebo effects? Then I got COVID and neuropsychiatry, which was absolutely interesting. Nothing to do with any of my original interests. Then I got old people and COVID. Nothing to do with any of my original interests. And also didn't follow on for my lit review. There's no supervision for your lit reviews. Like, if your supervisor's not supervising you, the lecturers didn't ask because they don't make mistakes. For my lit review, my supervisor did not supervise me. I spoke with him twice for 6 minutes in total. I don't think he even read my draft. He didn't leave me a single comment on my draft. He was supposed to leave detailed comments on 1,200 words. Don't know if he even read them. I got no help. He never explicitly answered my question of, am I doing a systematic review, until about 3 days before it was due in. And I was like, oh fuck, that's a completely different thing. And then when you email the head of that module and you go, hey babe, I've not been supervised, you just get a message that's like, it's just his supervision style. Is it though? Or is he just not a good supervisor? Like, we then also have, on our like lit review portal, Blackboard or whatever, it says, oh, what should you expect? You should expect at least 30 minutes of one-on-one interaction with your supervisor every 2 weeks. I don't think I had 30 minutes in total over the whole year. Most people didn't get that, but like maybe one group did. And even though that's an expectation, if you say, I'm not getting that, they'll say, but it's just the supervision method. It's because your work is fine, you don't need supervision. Like, yes, I got a good grade. I still needed supervision. I still needed some fucking help because I've never written a lit review before. Like, I've not done that before. I could do with a bit of assistance. Research paper, I got a bit more supervision, but again, still not really any supervision. Questions, I would send an email with like 3 questions and he would answer like 2 of them. So I don't know if I'm correct. I've not got my grade yet back for that, but don't know if I'm correct. Don't know anything. Had nothing to do with my lit review. Didn't follow on nicely. Like, the expectations for lit reviews and research papers are awful. As in, some people, for like the research paper, some people have to do a lot of work. They have to run their own study. Here's what you would think. You run your own study, because when they take you on the open day, they're like, oh my God, you're going to use the labs. And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to use the labs. You're not going to use the labs. You might run a questionnaire if you're feeling really lucky. Some people had to make questionnaires, analyse variables, recode variables, input variables. Some people, like me, downloaded some data, ran a regression, and I was done. Some people did 1 ANOVA, some people did 47 ANOVAs. There's no consistency. Like, I arguably didn't put anywhere near as much effort into my research paper as a lot of my friends who had to do actual work, because I didn't have to, but also because I had no supervision to do so. Like, I was never even given the option that I would run my own paper, that I would run my own study. Like, you also, when you input like your choices for your lit review, you get to pick out 3 options of like I will work on a project that a supervisor's already got going and I'll just do that. In betweeny model, I will work on what they're doing, but add a little bit of my own pizzazz. I will work independently. I like an in-betweeny model. No, this supervisor's doing this, copy them. So did most people. Most people didn't even get spoken to. Like, there's no consistency around it. And I have spent 15 minutes talking about just the shit of that. So we're gonna move on to the assignment and exams. You would think in your 3rd year of your degree, you'd probably be doing the most like real uni. I don't think I really wrote any essays this year. That says a lot. In semester 1, I had to make a podcast, I had to make a poster, we had to write a lot of justifications, a lot of courses, and a lot of assessments were the exact same. They would steal something from another thing, which is like a design a product, make your product, now justify it. I've done that in 4 or 5 modules, and they're all marked inconsistently anyway. After 2, we did more essays, but I also had to make a public service announcement. What's that got to do with anything? I had to make an advert, MCQs. What has that got to do with psychology? Why have I not written essays? And even the essays that we've had have again been like 1,500 words. I thought you'd have to write a long essay at some point in your degree. No, like, because I know some people in other unis get set like 3,000 word essays, which I could do if we were given a question or something useful. We're not a lot of the time. A lot of the time we don't get any kind of question, we just kind of get well, here's the thing. For some essays we've had a question. For one of the modules, advertising, we didn't get a question. It was like consider COVID as a multifaceted problem. Design an intervention, do this. Again, we've done a lot of designing interventions, which I'm not fucking good at, because funnily enough, my degree has nothing to do with that. I've never been taught how to design an intervention that is effective. What would you consider an intervention? And like for advertising, why am I designing an intervention? What's that got to do with advertising? Can you riddle me that one? No, you can't. The assessment methods have not been assessments. Much less group work. But also, is it just because I kept complaining and said, babe, I'm either going to do things on my own or with my actual group that I chose because of my student support sheet, and no one was ableist to me this time? Clap to the university for not breaking the law. But even when they were ableist, no, we found no evidence for ableism. Remember, because a lecturer is never wrong. Glad we covered that one. We've then got grading. I popped off in semester 1, I did. But I think I only popped off because of my lit review. Like, if you go to other universities, you can get 90s. You can't here. We do categorical marks. We can get a 95 in an MCQ. You're not getting a 95 in an essay. You're not allowed it. 87, which you're not really going to get in an essay. If your essay is perfect, it's a 78. 78s, 72, 68, 65, 62. So in a first, there are 2 attainable grades. 78 being absolutely god perfect, 72 being it's not quite perfect, but I don't want to give you 78. Like, I'm just not going to. We need a 75. Because there are a lot of times when I'm given a 72 and they've said one thing that could make it better. Surely it's a 78 then, because an 87 is the highest grade. You know? Like, they do not want to give you firsts. You will get a 72 with a piece of work that says this is absolutely perfect. Or a 68 with a piece of work that this is top quality, best thing I've ever read. Okay, why is it not first then? And even if it is a first, why is it 72, not 78, when I'm told something is perfect? Like, what our university does is a lot of the time, if they don't want to give you a good grade, is they will say like, minor APA mistakes, issues with APA citations and referencing. Which ones though? Where's the proof? You can't prove it to me. It's just I don't really want to give you a 72, so I'll give you a 68. There's nothing wrong with it, but minor issues with APA. Where? Prove them to me, show them to me. You can't because they don't exist. Like, that's a classic University of Southampton thing, is APA, spelling and punctuation. No. And I got a 72 on a piece of work that I was told was perfect, but they added 2 commas for me. And then my feedback was like, why don't you try reading academic journals to see if you understand punctuation? I'm 21. I've never had an issue with punctuation. I don't have an issue with punctuation. I've been told it once, and it's because they don't want to give me higher than a 72. And another piece of work I got a 72 and they said, oh, it would have been great if you'd done X, Y, and Z. I had done X, Y, and Z. But I'm not going to argue with them because lecturers are never wrong. And I've also literally only had like 178. In second year I got no 78s. In first year I popped off and I think I got like 3. And in third year I've got 1. And it was in my lit review, which was considered perfect, but it's not an 87. Because again, there's no jump between a 72 and a 78 and an 87. So they're not going to give you an 87. That's simply not. In terms of other things, like, we weren't really normally distributed in anything. I think if you did research methods, you were normally distributed. I didn't do any research methods-based things, so I've not been normally distributed this year. The university still owes me about 20%, 30% of just grades that they steal from me, but not this year. Like, yeah, categorical marking is a load of shit. I'll take categorical marking if it's consistent, as in between, like in a 2-1, you can get 3 grades, 62, 65, 68. Why doesn't that apply the whole way up? Why can I not get 72, 75, 78, 82, 85, 88? Why is it an 87 as well? Who's stopping them from making that better? Because like in maths, if you do an MCQ and you get it all right, you can get a 100. You can get a 100 in a module. The highest module grade I've ever had is a 78, and that's because it was a good essay. If you do stats, you can maybe get a 95 in a module, but all your other modules will be 65s. Like, objectively, you can't do well at this university unless you just do stats modules and are 100% correct. Because if you make 1 mistake, 87, 2 mistakes, 78, because the lecturer is never wrong and they don't want students to achieve well or do well full stop. Like, in any other university, you see people like posting about how their lit reviews and their dissertations got them like 92s, 87s. We can't get that. A perfect dissertation, my lit review had absolutely no feedback on it. Well, because my supervisor was shit. I had one piece of feedback which was about how to do a systematic review, but like, had I been told I was doing a systematic review? No, not really. In any other uni, that probably would have been an 85 or something. Like, and I'm not trying to flex and like, oh my god, I'm the smartest person ever. But like, a 65 here is probably a 72 if your university gives out actual grades. Like some universities do it every 5 grades once you get into the first. Like you get 75, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95. You can't get more than a 78 in an essay. I reckon someone has got an 87 in an essay before. I've not seen this essay. I only know it exists because we get like end of semester assessment things and they have the range of grades. Someone's got an 87 in an essay before, but not really. Maybe in like 1 essay in 1 module. Luck is perfect, you're getting a 72. You're getting shafted and you're not getting first in your degree. If you get first in your degree, you're getting a first by rounding. So don't come to Southampton thinking that you can do well. If you're going to go to a university, look at what categorical marks they offer you before you go, because you won't get first here. Let's do exams and feedback. I had 1 exam all year. If you did other modules, you did have actual exams, but I only had 1 exam and it was still an online 8-hour exam. Our other exams have been, you get a question released in the exam period, you get 2 weeks to answer it, or you get 1 week to answer it. We've not really had any exams this year. But again, the feedback you get on your exams is absolute shit. Like the exam that we did in semester 1 was the one where they gave everyone the wrong grade. My feedback was 1 sentence that just said like, should have considered global perspective a bit more. What does that mean? can you tell me where I could have included that? Because you gave me 1,500 words. Where do you want me to say this? Like, where's my feedback? Some lecturers will do like track changes. Like, you know, when you go in Word and you can see like changes where they've backspaced and they've commaed and that kind of thing. What you should get for every module, for everything. Such limited feedback. Like, I think childhood maltreatment and mental health gave you good feedback. They gave you a good chunk of feedback, but most modules don't. Educational psychology gave us like comments, but they were objectively wrong. But a lecturer is never wrong, so they were not. I held my hands up, it must have been me being fucking stupid. Advertising doesn't give you feedback. You have to ask them for feedback. It takes them about 3 to 4 weeks to give you that feedback, and then that feedback goes against everything they've said. We got told in our MCQs that they need to be sorted in a logical order, and then all of my feedback was, they're not alphabetical, and I said, because they're in a logical order. And they said, no, you stupid bitch. And I went, fair enough. We had another thing in advertising where you got feedback, well, after asking for it and begging for it, they eventually gave you feedback which was like 3 lines, and it was like, I can't believe you did this, which I told you to do previously, but I hate it. That kind of thing. You don't really get much feedback, and if you ask people to discuss feedback, they'll say, I told you all I could. I don't have anything else to say. That kind of shit. Let's talk about complaints. I don't think I submitted a complaint in first year. Should have, was a bit shit, just should have complained about anything. Did in second year, did in third year. We're currently still going through this complaint process, and let me just explain to you. I'm not going to explain the complaint because it's still going, because they're being little... It's almost like they're purposely taking as long as possible so that we give up and stop complaining. But they wouldn't do that. We submitted this complaint in January. We had a meeting to discuss this complaint at the beginning of May. We only just got our outcome, and we're going further with it because the outcome is not good, and they didn't read our complaint properly or listen to us. But it took 5 months. 5 months for them to process a complaint. They take their sweet time so that you can't complain. And then when you do complain, they say, no, we disagree with any outcome you are seeking. Bit weird. I should have complained about the literature review process in the fact that I got no feedback, didn't get my draft right, didn't get my hand held, didn't get any support for anything. However, my plan is to submit special cons for the lit review and research paper. I don't care about the lit review, I got 78, slay. That was me though. That wasn't because I had supervision. And here's the thing is what they would say is, but you still did well. Yeah, but in spite of the shit supervision. Like, not because I had a good supervisor. I'm just smart. What if I was stupid? Like, so yeah, so I am going to submit special cons and be like, babe, I wasn't supervised. I feel like you need to get your shit together. I'm not going to submit a complaint about the lit review research paper because I don't have a desired outcome, but I am going to send an email to the head of the module and go, this is a shit run module. I could give you a list of 100 names of students who got no supervision, who were actively told to do something and then marked against for doing it. Like, the lit review process is awful. So I haven't complained about it, but easily have grounds for a complaint or an appeal. I have grounds for a complaint or appeal for, to be honest, most modules that we've done, because they've all been quite shit in terms of no supervision, incorrect feedback. Like, we had, for one of our modules for sexual diversity, it was affected by the strike, so we never got taught week 2 or 3 content. She said, oh, I'll teach you in the revision session. But 4 or 5 hours before the revision session, says, it's cancelled, babe, but I'm going to upload the slides. If you have any questions, let me know. You didn't teach us any of that content. Like, why don't you reschedule the revision session, film a recording of it? Because then our exam got released at the end of that revision session period, and she was like, I will not accept any questions as soon as the exam has started. Well, I don't know what the questions are because I haven't heard you explain anything, and you actually not explained anything. Oh, here's another stupid thing. Let's just talk about lecturers for a second. Do they know how to cite? Like, a lot of lecturers say like, oh my god, please use my lecture slides, please, please. Cite something then. Stop making claims. Like, we get absolutely shot on sight if we have more than 1.5 sentences without a citation, because that's plagiarism, we're horrible people, we deserve all the hell that's coming to us. A lecturer, they can go 500 slides with 2 citations, and no, that's not on them. I literally, during an exam, probably in my last video or the one before that, I left a comment on like our Padlet, which is like a question board, which was, can you provide a citation for slide 25? I found absolutely no evidence to back up your claim. I didn't also not get a response because they don't respond to criticisms or just comments. They don't respond, they don't cite in their slides, and then they also say like, oh, please only use citations that are like less than 10 years old, but then any citations they do include, which is not many because they don't include citations, are from 2010 and before. So I'm going to get marked down for not including lecture content because I've included content that's past 2010, but if I include content before 2010, I have included lecture content, so I get marked up, but I get marked down because my citations are old. They just reuse lectures from 14 years ago, even though some of the papers have been proven wrong. Like in one of our modules, they posted a meta-analysis and they're like, oh my god, this is a great meta-analysis. First of all, it's over 10 years old, so it's not that good. Second of all, it was actively proven wrong in a paper a few years later. If you'd updated your lecture slides, you'd know that and stop telling people to use this actively wrong citation. In your degree, right, you're not supposed to cite lecture slides because the person who said the lecture did not make everything up. They didn't make it up. Lecturers explicitly say this quite a lot. Like on the Padlet, which is our little question board, a lecturer, someone asked, how do I cite the lecture slides? And the lecturer was like, I can't tell you what to cite, but you should really consider what you're citing, which is a very obvious, don't cite the lecture slides, you idiot. If you looked at exam feedback from any other years, please don't cite the lecture slides. Or like, she said like, oh, this is for clinical. A lecturer said, some students cited her surname 2023 or something. This was described as, students were told to remember this is an inappropriate citation because she didn't fucking come up with it. Like, it makes somewhat sense because lecturers don't cite, but it's not hard to know that they didn't come up with the concepts they're describing. Like, if you Google the sentence that they've said, you'll find it. Like, I think a lot of people are really bad at research, which is fair enough. We've not been taught how to research or answer questions or write essays or do anything, but like, a lot of the students make very silly mistakes. Yeah, part of it is on them. Part of it is on, they've not done any looking for answers for anything. Part of it is also on the university of, we don't get taught a lot of things, we don't get taught how to do things, so we don't know that things are wrong, or we don't know that we should or shouldn't do something. And no one will tell you because, again, you don't get feedback on your exam saying, haha, don't do this again, it's not very good. Like, I never knew you had to include a DOI in all your references because I've never been told. I've not included DOIs before. When you do your references in APA, a DOI is just like a HTTPS, the link. I've got 80 plus perfect citation referencing before, never included a DOI until, one assessment in semester 1 when I was told, babe, you need the DOI, you've not included it. And I was like, why would I do that? Apparently you're supposed to, but funnily enough, because lecturers don't give you any feedback, because you're not taught anything, because no one answers your questions, you don't know that you need to do something unless you've done it wrong before and someone's actually said you've done it wrong. Because I've been submitting work since first year with no DOI, not being told I need a DOI until a few weeks ago. I can't just take initiative and know that I need to do that because it's a niche thing. Like, again, if I had feedback before, if people actually read your work when they say they do, I would probably fucking know to do that. But I don't because no one gives you feedback. We then have personal academic tutors. If you know, I had one personal academic tutor in first year, moved tutor groups because I didn't like him. One in second year who was nice to me at the beginning and then sided with the ableist person who wasn't ableist according to the university. but wasn't ableist at all. And then in third year, your dissertation supervisor is supposed to become your personal academic tutor. No, I didn't speak to my supervisor, first of all, about anything that wasn't my degree, or that anything that wasn't my lit review. I did not interact with him. And also, I don't think he knew he was supposed to be my personal academic tutor. Like, I don't think they know that they've got this new job, that they're supposed to look after you in some way, because I have like a disability support sheet which says, oh, please frequently interact with Saskia, like please check in on her. I've never been checked in on, actually. Not that I was checked in on. My research paper was checked in on once when I got an email from my supervisor that was just like I'd been emailing my supervisor, he then sent me an email that didn't warrant a reply, so I didn't reply. He then sent me an email 6 weeks later like, how's it going? And I was like, 6 weeks? You let me go 6 weeks? Not wondering if I'd done any fucking work. Like, again, if you had the meetings every 2 weeks like you were supposed to, he would have been caught up on my progress, but he wasn't. Like, I don't think they know they're supposed to be personal academic tutors. And like, you can keep your personal academic tutor from second year, but mine's the one who sided with the ableist girl. I don't like him. Like, and also, basically, when you're applying for things like masters, you have to get a reference. Who am I supposed to ask for a reference? No one fucking likes me. Like, I asked my first year tutor because he probably likes me the most out of him first year and second year. Second year sided with the ableist. Wasn't ableist. I also asked my dissertation supervisor. However, when you send a master's application, you get a little like notification that says, oh, a reference has been added to your application. I only ever got one of them. And it was from my first year supervisor, my first year tutor, because he told me he'd sent it and he read my emails. My dissertation supervisor, who I asked for a reference, never wrote me one. Not a single one. Ever. Not a single one. He could have copy and pasted another reference and just put Saskia, but he didn't write me a single one. I asked him again for a reference because I'm applying for some postgrad funding. My first year tutor happily sent one. Took him a few days, he happily sent one. And my dissertation supervisor said, can you write me a template? So I had to write my own reference. I then sent it off to him and I was like, yes, Lay, add your citation, add your signature, add your whatever. He's not sent it back to me. Which is fine because I only needed one and I only asked him as a backup. But will he ever send it to me? I wrote a whole reference for this man about myself and he's not sent it back. I don't think I'm getting a reference from him, I'm gonna be honest. Actually, while we're here, let's talk about like masters and all of that. You don't get any support in applying for a masters. You'd think they'd try and help you with like next steps. No, I don't think we've ever even had like options to discuss. I think last year they did like a careers thing, which was just you could do clinical or health psychology. Everyone knows that. Like, I want to get told what masters should I apply to, what should I be looking for in a masters, how do I know if I'm going to get into the masters, what should I do after the masters, what jobs can I go into, actual things, rather than just do our careers quiz, check your CV. No, can't apply for a masters if no one gives me a reference, but no one's going to give me a reference. So, yeah, very hard to apply for masters. No one will give you a reference. You have to apply for your transcript to apply for a master's, which is just your list of grades. But it has to be an official list of grades. I can't just go on my student banner and screenshot them. You now have to pay £10. They used to be free. And they said it would take them up to 20 working days. I missed 3 PhD applications. I ordered it in beginning of November. I did not have it until February. That's a little bit more than 20 working days. It might have been 30 working days, but still that's actually 3 months. They just didn't send it. Well, they eventually sent it after I sent about 14 emails saying, where is it? Where is it? I've missed applications now. Are you gonna send it? Can you send it, please? Where is it? I ordered this months ago. Are you gonna send it, please? And eventually they're like, oh my God, here it is. Not sorry that it took us 40 fucking years. Not sorry you missed all your applications and now can't get into a PhD. Just please find attached your transcript. Thanks. Really means a lot, really fucking helped everyone, didn't it? And like, my transcript obviously only has first and second year grades on it. So it's kind of fucking useless anyway. Like, when I finish my degree, will I get sent a transcript with all my grades? Because surely people will want that rather than just here's my classification? I don't know. Academic wise, hate my degree, hate all the lecturers, hate the assessment methods, hate this place, hate the shithole. Love it here. Let's go on to non-academic things like societies. This year I joined aerial hoop. Best decision I made. Should have done it in second year, looked at doing it in second year, but it was running at the same time as netball. Second year Saskia should have ditched netball a long time ago. It's very cliquey, it's very not nice. Like, no one was outrightly mean to me this year like they were last year, but I'd rather not go. I stopped going a long time ago because I got no excitement out of it, no enjoyment, was still only just sometimes allowed to play the position I want to play, didn't have fun, would rather not be there. So I joined aerial hoop, which was so much better. I did beginners hoop, beginners plus hoop. I was going to do pole, but I was just a bit scared. It is something I do want to continue though. I actually really, really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. It's kind of a bit expensive, but it's also not. Like, I think it's £7 per session. So I think I paid like £76, £77. I paid like a bundle for 10 sessions and a bundle for like 4 sessions. And it ran, we have 3 terms, 2 semesters. It ran every term, but it stops really early on in like May. I assume because people have exams and can't really make it, but it does stop really early. Love it though. All the people are actually really nice. Like, I joined at the 3rd year and it's not cliquey and mean, whereas had I joined a certain netball group maybe in 3rd year, it's cliquey and mean. I went to some of another netball taster and again, they were really nice. I think it's just some netball groups are cliquey and mean. Yeah, I'm gonna maybe consider, I am doing a master's next year, and let's do a little segue into that. Doing a master's next year, going to Nottingham. I think I'm gonna try and do some aerial hoop there, maybe some netball. I feel like my netball days are over, not because I can't play anymore. I've never said I was that good, but again, it's supposed to be for fun. If I join their for fun league and it ends up being for fun if you're really good, but if you're not really good, literally fuck off and don't talk to us, then I'm not gonna play. If it's anything like this situation of kind of last year mostly was a problem for me, anything like that, I'm not doing it anymore, will do something else. I think I'm gonna carry on with aerial hoop or might join pole. I really enjoyed it. It was good for my fitness, bad for my dizziness, but I had a good time. Everyone there was really nice. I don't think I was part of any other societies. I think that was enough societies for me. Like, going on my Wednesdays, I would have netball then hoop. I'm tired for the week after that. Like, that's good enough for me. I don't think I wish I would have joined any more societies, but I do wish I would have joined hoop earlier. Even if I'd just done pole instead, like, the dynamic was a lot nicer. Is there anything else I can say? We can talk a little bit like other things like housing. We live in a different house this year. It's really nice. It's bigger. I've got a nice bigger bedroom. Not that I really care, I quite like a small room because I get nervous in a big space. We've had a lot of issues with the estate agent though. And the house. I will be making an estate agent horror story. Bad discussion situation. Once we've left the house though. Once we've left the house and got our deposit back, I can talk more about it, but I'm not too confident about the deposit. I'm never too confident. Last year, even though we left the house spotless, they did steal our deposit. They tried to steal some of it illegally, and pay for like carpet cleaning fees, professional cleaning fees, which are illegal. And then they told us like, we'll remove this charge as a courtesy. I was like, no, you mean because it's illegal? No, you mean because I cited the law to you? Like, I swear all estate agents think students are stupid. Like, they don't believe that you could know something. Like, they don't believe that we could know the law or know our own rights or know anything. Like, I think I was, like, we've been flat out lied to. They've flat out lied to us and they've been like, oh my God, no, we did call you earlier. We gave you warning. No, you didn't. And I will stand up to you and say that. Like, I know some students might be like, oh my God, no, I'm so scared. Don't care. I'll fight anybody. If someone's trying to tell me that I'm wrong when I'm not, go away. Probably a lot more negative things I could say. Do I have any other things just to add generally? Oh, I changed gym this year. I now go to the Portswood gym instead of the Jubilee gym. The University of Southampton gym is not very good. It's kind of expensive. If you're not on campus, literally no point going to it because campus is in a weird place out of the way. I go to the Portswood gym because they have a student membership which works out, I think I got a 9-month membership and it works out being like £12 a month. Gorgeous. Do I have anything else to say? Don't think so. Generally, overall experience, the third year alone, 4 out of 10. And that's probably being generous. Yeah. Like, it might not seem like that much bad things has happened. Like, I didn't have to submit as many complaints or appeals or anything, but like, number one, I shouldn't really have to submit complaints and appeals at my university. They should kind of just be doing their fucking jobs. And number two, I think it's just everything added together of first year and second year and third year, all not being good. I don't think I've had a genuinely good experience in any module, with any lecturer, any assessment method, any part of my degree, really. And like, when I post this, I don't think my degree's officially done. I've still got 4 grades left to get back. I'm gonna get a 2-1. I'm gonna get a 2-1 as in I'm gonna get like a 69, but it's gonna be really upsetting because it's not first, but also you can't get a first. So, yeah. I think that's kind of it. Basically, my advice, do not fucking come here, at least for psychology, but also a lot of other subjects, don't come here. I'm pretty sure when I applied to this university, there's like silver, bronze, gold rankings for teaching. This place was a silver, not a gold. I'll tell you right now, it shows. It does, you can tell. Lecturers have absolutely no passion towards their subject. The lecturers that were good always taught the boring shit. Like things like behavioural neuroscience, I don't really care, but the lecturer had passion. He cared about his topic. Things like language, memory, cognition, it tends to be male lecturers are good lecturers, good at teaching, passionate, actually give a fuck. I actually reply to their emails, apart from some. Female lecturers don't want to be here, generally speaking. All of the lecturers don't want to be here, don't want to teach. You can tell 90% of lecturers here are here for the funding. Like, they're here and they're like, oh my God, yeah, I guess I could take a class if I get funded to do my research. Like, if they got funded without teaching, they would not be doing teaching. They are not in teaching because they enjoy teaching or because they enjoy helping people. They are in teaching for funding. I think I could say that for 90% of the lecturers. I could probably, there's really less than a handful, less than 5 lecturers that I have genuinely liked throughout my time at university and have a continued good opinion of them. Because some of them I might have liked in first year and then things just got worse. Or I liked them and then they gave me a really shit grade with no justification. Like, again, I could probably put on one hand the amount of modules I've had genuine enjoyment in doing. Like, I might finish my degree, but it doesn't feel like I have because I never did one. Like, you don't have to go to a single lecture, and I didn't this year, to pass your degree. Like, you could attend not a single psychology lecture in your whole 3-year degree, and you would pass everything. The only thing you might struggle with is research methods 3. That's the only thing. Because our assessment methods have nothing to do with the content, because you can answer all the assessment methods through Google Scholar, and because the lecturers are not engaging, and even when they talk, even when I went to lectures in second year, I could only tell you content from language and memory, because the person who ran the lectures I went to was on it, they cared. The other lectures I attended, couldn't tell you any of the content because there was no enjoyment. And I also feel like a lot of the content we do isn't hard. Like, I'm sure some people might say, oh no, but it could be hard. Like, yeah, had I picked neuroscience, it might be hard, but there's not a single module we've learned a concept that I've been like, oh my God, I just can't get my head around it, apart from logogen models in memory, language. And eventually I figured that out on my own, but it also had no relevance to my exam. So, content-wise, not a very difficult degree. Emotionally and mentally, difficult degree. Draining, horrible experience. Like, if you're going to do a degree at Southampton, you can stay at home. Don't bother moving down. Lectures aren't compulsory to go to in person. You have no reason to come down to Southampton. You can do it all at home, all on your laptop. It's not worth 27 grand. Go to any other university. Any. And I will be doing a similar review like this for when I go to Nottingham. I have my hopes held out that Nottingham will be better, because Nottingham was my insurance for my undergrad. Should have made it my firm. I regret not going to Nottingham. I hate it here. Only good thing I've got from this university is money, bursaries for being poor, which most universities do. It's just that Southampton does a slightly bigger one. That's about it. Oh my God, no, let's talk about graduation quickly. Our graduation ceremony is in July. You get tickets for free, but you have to pay for your gown, and it's like 39 quid. And here's the thing. They do pay for some people's gowns, but you would think it would be if you were poor, as in if you get maximum student loan and a bursary because you are poor. No, it's based on your postcode. If you're from a poor area, even if you're on minimum student loan and you have loads of money, you get your gown paid for. Like, I'm on maximum student loan, maximum bursary, and I don't get my gown paid for, even though arguably I'm in the poorest demographic here. But people from bad postcodes get their gowns paid for, but not everyone, because some people got like contextual offers to join this university because they were in a bad postcode, but their gown's not being paid for. Why are they paying for the gown for the people who can afford it? My graduation's also at 9:30 a.m. and it's gonna be shit because I don't care. I'm gonna walk up on that stage in my Converse because he says you can't wear your Converse with your dress. I'm gonna shake the hand of some old man who's gonna give me a 2-1 certificate. I'm gonna go, thank God this is over. I'm gonna take some gorgeous pictures and I'm gonna leave. And maybe we'll get a cheeky McDonald's drive-through. Finish off the 3 years of hell with a McPlant, you know? I feel like a McPlant would really hit the spot after 3 years of having a really bad time. So yeah, this video was probably, 45 minutes long? And I'm happy again to answer any questions you have. I do get a lot of questions on like Instagram DMs, mostly about like accommodation. But if you have any questions about the psychology course, if you want any of my notes for this degree, not that I made notes, but like, I might have made a 1 page of notes at some point in my degree. Happy to help. So to summarise, don't come here. Yeah, that's my summary. Avoid this degree like the fucking plague. Avoid this university like the fucking plague. Go to Nottingham. Might not be better, but it's not Southampton.